demonstrate a lot of capacity in
Yeah.
that respect.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we be focusing our energies now on taking it beyond these modular refineries and building standard refineries?
What I'm saying is, call it modular, call it standard, allow these people to build and have refineries within the areas of their allocation, allocate them land, allocate them license, let inspect the facility they have for the
So
refining.
they should set the standards, and let them meet it.
Set the standard and let them meet it. This is, because before you start any factory, before you start any industry, there will be the standards organization and all the other agencies will inspect it, will inspect to ensure standard, inspect to ensure the standard of your product, they ensure the environmental sustainability, ensure the environmental compliance, ensure what byproduct what are you doing with the first byproduct, the second byproduct, the third byproduct, do you have where to dispose of it, and if you have to dispose of it, and who is buying the derivatives. And if you are when you take out petrol, what do you do with the kerosene element? When you take out the kerosene element, what do you do with the diesel element? As of today, a lot of people have, I still apologize, I say my view will not be popular, but a lot of people have and maintain 2 generators in Nigeria. They have generators for the imported diesel, and they have generators for the locally produced diesel.
Oh, they know how to distinguish between those?
They do.
Some people just go to the
because
station
in
and
that
buy.
case, it means
if we, sorry,
Senator Enang, in that case, it means that we have I think we're almost getting into trouble here because the local refineries or the illegal refineries have actually produced substandard quality petroleum product that have actually caused some explosions in some areas, maybe kerosene explosion. We've also seen some people maybe lose their vehicles in record time, less than 6 months. It means some of them have actually cut corners because it is already illegal. There's no one that has done the environmental impact assessment or to actually check the quality of that particular petroleum product. But if we say we have pockets of them in some of the regions, especially in the Niger Delta region, which produces the bulk of the oil, how can we help stem this tide and bring everyone together and say properly this is how it should be? Because if we have to encourage those people going ahead with what they're doing presently, as Mark puts it, we'll have so many illegal refineries which will cause further damage to the Niger Delta region.
Yes, I agree they're causing damage as of today. They're causing, there is danger. And you've addressed the fact that there is a few of them what their products are sometimes substandard. Sometimes it is not because it is substandard that people have 2 generators. Sometimes they are just afraid, But there are others who still maintain 1 generator and put in this and still run. But the most important thing in this case is, this is capacity in Nigeria. You should tap this capacity. I keep apologizing because if we in government know these things and then we keep quiet and say, look, let it go on the way it is, or it is a crime, let the people go on, or we prescribe, look, let us raise the punishment. If you want to raise the punishment, at least for those who are doing it already, punishment for stealing and all that, how much, to what extent shall we punish them? I'm saying we should come to the table with these persons, bring them together, issue standards, meet it. If you meet it, we will give you crude. This is the cost of the crude, and you see whether they will still do it.
Why do you think, sorry, Suleiman, why do you think the federal government, because as I've said before, this is not the first time, but this idea has come up, but we've also seen that very strongly too, the federal government has rejected it, especially the executive arm of government. Why do you think they have rejected it? What has been the strongest argument?
Rejecting it because, one, they are afraid that it will perhaps sustain the stealing of crude. Secondly, the environmental reasons. That is the fact that the byproduct, when some of them do the refined one and then throw away the rest, and it becomes a danger to the environment. And I want Nigeria, before we draw conclusions, let us say, how much are we spending on the joint task force that we've set up to chase these persons? 2, how much are we spending on the Navy, the NIMASA, the civil defense, and all the agencies that are trying to prevent this. To what extent are we recording success? Can't we then change the strategy?
Isn't it because we've not decided to employ technology?
It is because we've not decided to employ and exploit the efficacy of this technology, because I still call it technology.
Well, in some ways, if you look at, you've talked about, what we pay, what the security forces who are in charge of stopping these people, and we should try and quantify the success that we've had. But can we ever look at the damage? Can we ever quantify the damage in terms of monetary terms?
The damage
that will come, or that is currently being perpetuated by this illegality, even from the legal refineries. We know that constantly in the refinery, gas is constantly being flared, and it's something that we're even still trying to see how we can curtail. Can we afford more of this type of damage to the environment?
No. When you set standards and say, look, if you want to refine petroleum products, let us set your capacity. How many barrels can you refine? Let us look at where you are established. Let us look at the size of land you are. Let us look at the safety implications, your fire control, how you dispose of your environmental standards, and then the factory. We inspect it and certify it, and you see whether the factory, whether the refinery, quote unquote, meets international standards. You can look at them and you certify them to start. Then you will not call them illegal. At that stage, they will be operating legally as a refinery that you have licensed in the country.
Senator, you mentioned that we have given licenses to some people, legal licenses to some people to start refineries.
Yes.
There. Why are we not finding out what is stopping them from starting their refineries?
What is stopping them is that most of them who applied for and collected the licenses may not have been interested in
establishing the
refineries. Most of them thought they could take it and then go abroad and look for investors and sell the licenses. Yes. And again, what stopped them, most of them, from establishing the refineries in Nigeria were the facts of this subsidy matter. They said the price was not competitive enough, that if you establish a refinery and refine in Nigeria, you may not be able to make profit. And of course, the government then introduced subsidy.
For them?
No, the subsidy of petroleum product. And they said, well, this subsidy, if we refine in Nigeria, and we will not be able to compete with imported petroleum products. This may be part of the reason why some persons have come up with a suggestion that the petroleum sector be fully deregulated.
Do you also see the argument this way that, when it seems like we cannot cope with something, we say, let's make it legal. We've tried a preventive measure, it's not working, so maybe we should make it legal?
No, I'm not saying we should make it legal because the preventive measures are not working, no. I'm saying that we should make it legal because we really need it. One. Two, there is capacity in Nigeria. This capacity, you are not allowing it to blossom and develop. You should allow it blossom and develop so that you can, one, create employment, two, create self-sustainability as a nation, three, be able to ensure your own national security, because the availability of refined petroleum products and petroleum products is not an economic matter, is a matter of national security also. That is refining capacity of your country. And this is my opinion. It is not because we have not been able to stop them. And of course, at this stage, it's going to be difficult. It may be very difficult to stop them, because if you also want to know, some of the cost of setting up these refineries are not owned by some of this. The cost implications are not owned by some of these young men in the creeks, these young men who operated. Most of these refineries may be owned by persons who can afford it, buy it, set it up, and the men who operate it just take the risk of operating.
All right, so let's take a quick break. We'll be back to continue this and